Are you all seeing my screen? Okay. Are you seeing my screen? Yeah, let me know because yesterday we have experienced a challenging problem. Yes, yes.
Me, I can see, sir.
Okay, that's
Yes, we
very
can
good.
see.
Okay, that's very good. So, yesterday we discussed about variables and data types in Python programming. So we start with a variable as a container that holds data, and we talk about different types of different data types in Python. So today we are going to talk about string and method in string. So I know all of you know what a string means. So a string means it's a data type in Python that contain characters, and the characters may be letters, numbers, symbols, or even spaces. So whenever you have a variable that contain letters, numbers, symbols, spaces, so this is what we call a string. So just a string is a sequence of characters. So the characters can be letter from A to Z, numbers from 1 to up to Z, up to infinity, symbols like and, dollar sign, at, hash, etc. And even space, just like a space, normal space. Yeah. So like what I have told you yesterday that a string is always written in codes. And the codes can be a single quotes, double quotes, or even triple quotes. But this triple quote is for what? A multiple line. It's also called a docstring. We'll see this one in our function lesson. So I hope everybody knows what a string is all about because today we are going to dive into method used in string. The method means what are the inbuilt functions that is used in a string. Yeah, because not everything you need to write in programming. A lot of things were written by programmers. What you do is just you import this and make a good use of them. So you're going to see how to make a good use of a lot of methods or functions. Okay, so another important things you need to understand is that whenever you have a string is what is immutable, meaning the character inside the string after creation cannot be changed. What I want you to understand is that let's assume here we define a variable. Let's say we define a variable s that contains a string called Python. So here, let's assume here we have Python. So let's define the variable. So once this variable s is defined, look at it, is defined, s is equals to Python in a string. Please, Baradin, can you unmute yourself? Okay. So once this s is defined, s variable is a Python. So you cannot change any of this. That's what this
Nigeria.
statement is telling you. Please, who is talking here? Please. So that's what the statement is telling you. Because here, what this is telling you, let's assume, yeah, let me give you an example. Here, maybe S, sorry. Let me give you an example. Let's assume I want to know, let me check this one. Yeah, it copies what I have written here. Yeah. Okay, once I click enter, it will throw an error. The reason is that here with a square bracket, I'm accessing the index 0, which is P. So I want to change this P in Python TJ. So this will raise a type error because string are immutable in Python. So you see, meaning string cannot be changed. It is what immutable. Once you define a string, it will not change. So that's the important thing you need to understand. So whenever you are using a method in string, so you are creating a new variable, not an existing one. So uh, you need to understand this. Okay, so why strings are important in Python? Strings are everywhere in programming, especially in engineering data science, machine learning, and web applications. Because string can be used in storing and manipulating textual data, for example, like names, addresses, URL, uh, sometimes file path, because you need to maybe you have a file in your computer and you need to import the files so that you can use it in your VS Code. So you need to import the file. So at the process of importing the file, you need to know the file path before you import the file. So that is where the file path is important. So you need to also understand this. Another thing is that when you are using the CSV file, let me show you a sample of CSV file so that you understand what CSV means, comma, separated values. Let me show you. Let me give you an example. Let me show you this. So CSV means comma, separated values. So it's a kind of file that contains values, but they are separated by comma, no spaces. So let me show you an example. Let me open my Explorer. I think I have, where is it? The data. Yeah, let me show you here. Okay, let me click this one. So you see, so this is an example of a CSV file. Look at it, clean data.csv. So CSV means a comma separate file. So you see, you have this value. Okay, let me see, 440.0, sorry, comma 0.0, comma 0.0, comma 1.6. So you see, so you cannot read this kind of files unless you import them in your VS Code so that you can read it and understand and maybe derive an insight from this data. So you need to understand this as well. So this is what you call a CSV file. So for you to maybe import this file, so you need to understand the location of the file, and this is what you call a file. You need to understand this. Another important thing you also need to understand is that some machine learning models like tokenization in natural language processing also use inputs. So you also need to understand this. So that's why a string is really important in Python. So for example, when you are writing code, so you're also manipulating a string, set of characters. So you need to understand how to work with characters so that you become a very good programmer and you write a very clean and understanding code, because everybody can write code, but the difference between an elite and a beginner programmer is the way they write their own programs. So when you write a short and clean program, this is what shows your level of expertise in programming, because everybody can write programs. Yeah, programs is very, very easy, especially the with the evolving of this artificial intelligence. So why it is important to understand a string method? Why do you think it's really important for us to understand method in string? Why do you think it's really important? So the reason is that Python provides a built-in string method, so that will help you to manipulate and process string effectively and more and efficiently. Yeah. So Python. So the programmers, like I said, let me say it in that way. Python community has provided a built-in function or built-in method that can help you to manipulate and process string more efficiently. So knowing this will help you to maybe save a lot of times and avoid writing a complex code manually. So it's really important for you to understand how to write this, how to use this method effectively. So there will be a situation, especially maybe when you're collecting an information from maybe an audience or maybe your target, yeah, from your target audience. So they will give you something that you don't want. For example, you will ask someone to write his name. So you want the name to be written maybe in capital letters plus in uppercase, but maybe they provide the names in what in a lowercase. So how do you combat maybe a certain name or a certain character from a lowercase to an uppercase, or from uppercase to lowercase, or title case, or sometimes capitalization? So these are the methods in Python program. So you need to understand this one because sometimes you will prompt an audience, maybe you prompt a user to maybe an input some certain information. So with this information, maybe you can provide uh, maybe solutions to what the user is maybe want. So that's why this method is important because sometimes we make this kind of conversions. So basically, the most common method in Python programming were categorized into four. Number one, they have what you call conversion method. That's how you convert maybe a character from offer to lower to title and also to capitalization. So what is offer? An offer means you can convert a character to an uppercase. An uppercase means capital letters. So maybe you have a small letters and you want to convert them to an uppercase. So you can use this one dot upper, then close and open bracket. This is what you call sorry, dot upper, yeah. You have open and close parentheses. So this is what you call dot upper. So the main use of this function or method is to convert the letter or a certain string from lowercase to an uppercase, or maybe from title case or capital, or from whatever kind of uh, mm, from whatever kind of written is has to maybe an uppercase. So that's the reason. And maybe you want to convert it to lowercase, then you use dot lower. This dot title case means just to capitalize each letter in the word. Sometimes when we have multiple words, for example, like here we have a Python programming. So if I want to convert this P to become a capital and another this P here in programming to become capital, so I can use this dot title. But make sure you have these quotations, either single or double quotes. Then dot title, often and close parentheses. So these are what you call conversion methods. So there is the difference between capitalize method and title method is that in title method, you capitalize first letter of each words. Maybe you have multiple words. So using title case, you are going to convert only the first letter of each word. But in capitalization, you are capitalizing the first character. So here, Python dot capitalize, that means Python P is a one to be capitalized only. Okay, so we have another a category which is called white space handling. So yeah, sometimes you may encounter a situation where you have a space. I know all of you know what you call a space. Just press a long var in your keyboard. That's what you call a space. So when you have a space in your string, how do you handle this space? So the way you handle the space you remove it. Yeah, because we don't want spaces in programming. Yeah, we hate spacing in program, except maybe in some instances. But to remove spaces in programming, use this kind of methods, which are called white space handling methods. So, for example, like this one dot strip, this will remove the spaces at the end, both at left or right end. So, and this is the method we use dot strip. It will remove all the what? It will remove all the white spaces in the variable or in a string. You can have L strip. This L means left. So you are going to remove only the white space from the left. For example, here we have space before P, then we have Python. So if you want to remove this space between the phi and the past code, then you use dot L strip. L strip means left strip. So you are removing only the space in the left. Assuming maybe you have another space here after n, so this method won't remove the spaces after n. So you need to understand this. So to remove this space on the right, then you need to employ the use of R strip. R strip means remove the white space from the right. For example, like here we have a Python. Wa alaikum salam. Basana. Ya eh. Sorry. We got visitors and there is nobody inside the house, so I need to attend them. So, do you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. So, okay, so the next thing is we know how to handle the white spaces. Then there'll be a situation where we are going to use replacing and modifying methods. So, at some instances, we may have a situation we want to remove a certain letter and use another one in its place. Wa alaikum salam. So there will be a situation where you have maybe a letter, you want to remove it and maybe replace it with another one. So you use a dot replace method.
We cannot hear you as before.
Okay, do you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, but very low. The voice is very low.
Okay, so let me project my own box. So there will be an instances where you want to remove a certain letter and you replace it with another letter. So what we have, a collective set of characters is what you call a string. But a single character inside this set of characters is what you call substring. For example, here we have a Python here, Python. So each letter here is what you call a substring. For example, like P is a substring, Y is a substring, T is a substring, H is a substring, O is a substring, N is a substring. So that means a string is a collection of substring. So if maybe you want to replace a substring with another character, for example, like maybe you have A, B, C. So you want to replace maybe A with X. So you use dot replace method. Yeah, dot replace method. But this takes an argument. So you need to provide what you want to replace with what you want to replace. For example, here, if you want to replace A, so you write dot replace. So what are you going to replace? You want to replace A, so you need to write A, then comma, then use what character you want to replace it with. Then you need to provide it, maybe X. So this is, but make sure even if you are replacing it with a number, maybe you want to write 1 or 2 BC, for example. So make sure you provide this kind of codes because it's a soft string. If maybe you write only two, it will throw an error. It will raise an error. Yeah, so you need to understand this. And there'll be an instances where you want you have a string and you want to split it into list. Maybe you have a very long string. You want to split it into, for example, maybe I have my name Abubakar Muhammad Aha, for example, and I want to split it into my my first name, second name, and maybe a surname. So yeah, so I can use the split method. So the split method will separate the string into segment. Yeah. So for example, here A, B, C. Maybe you want to split it with comma. So it will give you A in a string string A in a list, B, 3. Yeah. So we have what you call the join method. So it will help you to join two string. Yeah. Join to string, but you need to provide what you want to join with. For example, here, this dash. So I want to join A and B using this dash. So dot join, so I need to provide, so I have to provide this open and close parentheses. Inside them, I have to provide the list of the item I want to join. Yeah, you need to know how to find this. So the next category is searching and counting methods. So maybe you want to find where some certain uh, character is present inside maybe a string. So you can use dot find. So dot find means maybe you want to find whether there is a letter E inside hello, or maybe you want to find whether there will be an L inside hello. So you write a string, then you write dot, then find, then you provide here. There will be an problem here. Well, let me just correct the press. Why the press is not fine here. Yeah, there will be another code here. Yeah, there'll be another code here. Yeah, so there will be another code here. So when you have hello.find, so we have E, which is this kind of double quotes. So it will throw one, it will give you one. It means there will be E. If there is no, it will give you zero. So it's a kind of a, sorry, no. This dot find is give you what? An indexed. It give you an index where the position of E can be found. Yeah. So that's what you call a zero indexing and what you call a negative indexing. Sorry, if you have a letter, sorry, if you have this hello, how many letters do we have? We have three letters, sorry, four letters. One, two, three, four. Yeah, we have four letters. So whenever you are counting in Python, we always start with zero. So zero is also a number in Python. So you cannot start counting with one, but we start counting with zero. So here it will be zero, E will be one, R will be two, the next R will be three, right? Then we have this one. So that means this H is in the position zero, E is position one, L is in the position two, another L is in position three, the next one is in the position four. So that is how the counting is carried out in what? In Python. This is what you call an indexing. So H is, sorry, E is in what? In a one index. So the position of E is one. So that's why it will give you one here. Yeah. So, but if, yeah, but if the letter is not found, it will not throw you an error, but it provides with a default number H, which is zero. So it will provide zero for you. That's it. But if maybe a number is, sorry, if you are using index, it does something with dot find, but the only problem is that if you are using dot index, if the number or a character is not found, it will raise an error. We will show you in our work examples. Yeah. So there's another one which is called dot count. So if you want to count the number or the occurrence of a stop string in a string, so use dot count. For example, if you want to count the number of A in banana, so use dot count. Then you open bracket and place the substring you want to count. For example, you want to count the numbers of A, so you open bracket, write A, and it will show you how many A do you have. So it will give you how many A's, one, two, three. So it will give you three. It will show three. So sometimes, maybe if you want to know, yeah, these are what you call searching and counting method. So there will be an instances where you may use another thing which is called string checking method. But this is what you call Boolean method because they will gives only true or false. They call it Boolean. True or false in Python is another kind of data type which are called Boolean. So these are called Boolean method. So whenever you have this, it will show you true or false. So you need to understand this as well. So now, if you want to know, for example, whether hello, if you want to know whether hello now it starts with H or it doesn't start with H, then you can use this one. Start with. So hello to start with. If you have H here, then if you run it, if this hello starts with H, it will give you true. Otherwise, it will give you false. So it has only two output. It can either be true or false. So these are called Boolean. So it's alphabet. Maybe you have a kind of characters. And if you want to check whether all the characters are alphabet, so use this one. Dot is alpha, then you have open and close parentheses. So if they're all alphabet, it will give you a true. Otherwise, it will give you false. For example, here, Python. If I want to check whether the word Python contain only letters, so I use Python inside quotes, then dot is alpha. Then if it gives me true, then that means all the letters are true. Otherwise, all the letters are alphabet. Otherwise it's giving you false. And sometimes if you want to check whether all the characters inside a string are numbers or digits. So use is digit. Dot is digit. So it will, if it throws true, that means all out are digits, otherwise it's giving false. So there will be a situation where you may have number and alphabet. So if you want to check whether this string contain number and alphabet, so I use dot is al num, then close and open parenthesis. Then if it throws true, that means the string contains both numbers and alphabet. Otherwise, it will throw false. So that this string checking method are called Boolean method because the only outputs are what are true or false. So let us move directly to what we have. So let's say I have name. Let's assume I have name here. I have Abubakar. So let me say we have, yeah, let's say name I have Abubakar. Let's assume I wrote it like this. I know this one is wrong. So let's assume I have this. Okay. So sorry, I have to declare it because this Abubakar is what? Is a string. So let me provide this one. Let me have a string here. Yeah, so I define it properly. So now let me convert this one. Let me say print, let me print name dot. Let me print it in lowercase. So I have to provide this. So I want to print the name, all of it in lowercase. So you see, so Abubakar is now written in lowercase. So let's assume maybe I want a name to be in uppercase. So I can have maybe print Abubakar. Okay. Yeah. In uppercase. So let me write it. So you see Abubakar. So let's assume maybe, yeah, let me name, okay, let me create another variable here. Let me create another variable. So let me call it first name Abubakar. Let me last name, not LID, but let me call it maybe higher. Yeah. Okay. So let me print. Okay. So let's assume, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Maybe full name. Okay, yeah. So sorry. That's what you call concatenation in sorry, that's what okay, let me show you something. Let me remove this place here. Let me say last name. So so what I'm trying to do is that if I have two string and I want to maybe merge them, I want to combine them. So you see, so this is what you call concatenation. Concatenation means, let me give you an example. Here I have maybe string A, then okay, sorry, yeah, let me call A equals to string 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have another string B, which is equals to maybe we have, yeah, 5, 6, 7. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let me print A plus B. Okay, this A plus B is not about maybe 1 plus 5 or 2 plus 6. No, since they are string, so the plus means concatenation. So we are going to combine them. So let me show you. So you see, so this because they have this quotation. So this quotation means they are string. So plus means you are going to what? You are going to add them together. So let me show you this one. So let me print full name. So you see Abubakar Taha. So if I want this to have a space here, I can add space here. So I can write. So you see, yeah. And if I don't want it like this, I can remove this space here. I can provide another space here. So I can have another space here. So like this one. So this one, I have space between these quotes because this space is also what a string. So I can have it here. Okay, so I have to, sorry. Then we have another one. So you see, so let me show you. So you see the plus this one have a space like this. So we are running out of time because we are only having 5 minutes and we didn't don't too much, but I will ask you to join if you have time, please. Try to join again with the same link. Yeah. Once the session is over, I'm going to start the same session with the same link. So this is so if maybe you have let's assume maybe I have another thing here. Let me create another thing. Maybe I have A. I have let me say hello. Okay, let me say hello world. Okay, sorry, hello world world. Yeah. Let's assume I have hello world. So let me use title case here. So if I want to use title case, I can have A dot then title. So in the case of title case, I'm going to what to capitalize each letter of sorry, I'm going to capitalize the first letter of each word. So let me see. So you see, H is now in capital and W is also in capital. But let me give you an example of that capitalized so that you understand the difference. Okay, let me use another. Okay, let me say print. Let's say A dot. Say it capitalized. So let's assume we have something like that. Let's assume we have something like this. So you see, in case of capitalize, only capitalize the first letter, the first character of the string. H is the first character, so it's going to capitalize only this one, only the H. So that's what I want you to understand. So these things are very important for you to understand it because uh, once you're working with the, sorry, once you're working with input from a user, you understand the importance of this. So let's start with what you call a strip methods. So let's assume I have maybe I have name. So maybe I have maybe down here. Then I have space here. Let's assume I have space here. So okay, let me use A small, sorry, let me use D small. So let's assume because there will be an instances where you may have a space and you maybe want to combine another. So maybe you can use multiple method at the same time. Let me give you an example. Maybe print, sorry. Your print must always be a small letter. So in print, yeah, use this. So we have maybe name. Okay, yeah. Name the strip. Look at here. Okay, let me remove this. These are called what you call comment. Once you see a writing with ash, so the interpreter will not run the place. So this one they are called comment. Okay. So let me say, you see, okay, let me print out so that we can see what we have. Okay, now you see. So I remove this space here. So maybe if I want to combine the two methods, maybe I want to make it in capital, so I have to use this one, the title. You see? So maybe run this here. So you see this one. So that means you can combine two or more multiple string. Okay, so multiple method at the same time. Okay. And maybe maybe we have a situation where maybe whereby we have a user input and there will be maybe a kind of mistake in the user input. For example, maybe we have okay, so okay, this is maybe you have an input from the user and there will be mistake, maybe name. Instead of a user to write a buckle, maybe wrote Abu, uh, Bu, okay, sorry, Abu Bakar. Let me say we have this one. Let me say the user input Abu Bakar, for example, like this one. So, so that means you need to. So you see, this one helped me a lot. So that's the importance of Copilot. It will help you to do a lot of things. So I need to remove this U and insert A inside. For example, here, there will be an error here, right? So I need to move it. So that means I can use name dot replace, yeah, none then replace, but here not U, not A, but rather U. You see, a U with what? With A here. So maybe after removing that one, then maybe I want it in capital letters. So I think I have the title here. And maybe, for example, maybe after removing, maybe there's another, there's be a space here, for example. So I can use something like this here.